Hello everybody, Rosanna here, founder of InJoy Yoga and RozyGlow, with the lovely Charmaine, who is our pregnancy and baby yoga teacher. We're both Birthlight trained, and I really wanted to say a little bit more about Birthlight. So if you are new to the concept that pregnancy and baby yoga online can be hugely beneficial both to you and your baby, and you don't know why that is in detail, please just watch this space. Just stay with me while I explain this, and Charmaine will too, because we have so many years experience between us. Birthlight essentially was set up by Dr. Francoise Friedman, who's a medical anthropologist, Doctor of Medical Anthropology at Cambridge University, recently retired, I believe, actually. But basically, she spent years in the Amazon learning about these indigenous practices that help babies be born, help mother and baby to bond, help babies to move through all of their developmental stages. Obviously, we didn't know that's what it was at the time, but really primed them for their environment to thrive rather than just to survive. And she came back to the West, and as a already swimming teacher and also a yoga teacher, she managed to put these practices together and create something that we in the West could actually really take from. And that's what Birthlight is. So it's pregnancy and baby yoga, fertility yoga, well woman yoga, toddler yoga for those who want to basically help their children to thrive. So it's the greater enjoyment of pregnancy, birth and babies. And I've personally been a tutor with them since 2009. So I've been training parents, yoga teachers and health professionals, maternity and baby professionals to adopt these methods and basically to support better outcomes and the greater enjoyment of the whole journey. So Charmaine is our now pregnancy and baby yoga teacher. Took me a long time to find her, but she took over my classes, my pregnancy classes, and a while back I'd handed the baby yoga over. But we were originally in Croydon. That's where our physical classes started, in South Croydon in 2004. So we've been going a long time. But since then, we are now virtual, and we are really wanting to expand our reach and let people know about what we're doing, because there is so much experience here. It's not just in the field of yoga, but also in the field of pre and neonatal psychology. We're both doulas, so we attend births and have seen the impact of the pregnancy and the baby yoga in action. The postnatal support that is offered as well, and the ability to regain ourselves after we've given birth and to feel whole and complete in ourselves, rather than suffering from months or years of postnatal depression and issues around bonding and sleep and all the deprivations that can occur if we haven't had the right kind of support early on. So what we wanted to do today is just to let you know a bit more about why the baby yoga is so important, and why we actually offer a mummy and baby nurture class, which is the one we're focusing on at the moment because of the crying need, which is from birth through to the first 16 weeks. So do you want to just sort of jump in and say a little bit about that?
Yes, I think it is something that I really am, again, so passionate about, to link in with pregnancy yoga and baby yoga. And I think in those very early weeks after you have baby, we usually say it could be some of the most challenging time for first, second or third parents, to be honest, because every baby's so different. But just to have that ability, even if your baby's a week old, to connect with us and ask a question or see another mum. I think the first thing somebody might ask me is like, oh, well, the baby's feeding every half an hour and I won't be able to do anything. I said, you can just sit there feeding your baby for the whole time, or just do a few little movements with us or a few little movements with baby. That's absolutely fine. It is a space for you to have a conversation, ask a question that you might not be sure about, to get support from other moms in the space as well, because somebody might ask a question that you were thinking, and really have a space that you can come together and feel supported in a time where people are feeling actually more segregated than ever. You can't see your midwife as readily, as quickly, or you might not be able to see your health visitor in the flesh face to face, or you might just have anxieties about doing that, going out and seeing them when your baby's new now at this time. So it's about building some confidence in you first, and starting to build up that energy around that you can do it and that you're well supported. And then we're linking in all the beautiful yoga movements, not just for you, not just for baby, for you as well. And they benefit so much. Little babies are like sponges. Their brains are doing massive growing and learning and developing. And we're starting to plant some of those early seeds in them, through speech and language, through developmental stages, cognitive in the brain, what's going on there. And it's a very powerful time, even if it's just a simple just release because somebody said something to you to make you feel like, okay, I've got a good latch on my breastfeeding, or, you know, a simple thing can make a big difference. And I guess you get the benefit of my doula experience, my specialism in breastfeeding as well. I'm literally trained in breastfeeding. Early years is my kind of area, so anything on the under fives really. So yeah, it's really a space where you can feel confident to come in and just learn more, and connect at the very basic level. And then we've got the beautiful yoga practice that's built in on top of that as well.
Yeah, so again, just to pick up on a couple of points, because you really rush through that and you don't credit, girl. You know, Charmaine is a beautiful bridge between the mainstream and the holistic. And I think because you've actually worked within the services as well, and you're very well aware of how they actually operate, and you are trained, you know, you're trained as an aromatherapist, you're trained as a nutritionist, you know, there's a real holistic element to you in the work that you do. So you're not sort of just putting your opinion out there, but you've got this beautiful balance of like all of this knowledge and wisdom that is a more holistic approach to parenting and to being able to understand our baby's needs, which, you know, those of us who've been involved in the birth and the pregnancy and the baby movement know it's political. A lot of it is political. We have got the 1001 Day Manifesto, which is a cross-party manifesto that our government has put together, which talks about how important these early years are and the impact that they have on our development long term. And one of the key things that we hear about again and again is continuity of care. But as much as our services may try to provide it, we all know that there are many, many policies, but they're not easy to implement, and down to human error and experience, etc., we don't get the support that we need. You may have experienced a miscarriage to have that knowledge and experience, or maybe you had a difficult birth and no one was there for you, or maybe you had trouble breastfeeding, or maybe you had 6 different health professionals all give you different advice and you don't know what to believe, you know. So being able to come to a place where you can actually start to trust yourself, and instead of being focused all the time on like problems, because that is how our service is designed. It's like it's looking for pathologies, right? So it's always looking at what's wrong or what could go wrong rather than what could go right. The time when you're building your confidence with something new, you really need a lot of positive reinforcement. And unfortunately, we just don't have that kind of support or the continuity of care, unless you've been coming to our pregnancy yoga classes and you could actually literally come back to baby yoga as soon as you've given birth, right? You could be in bed either at the hospital or at home, and you could pick your computer up or your tablet and be with us for your first class. A bit like what you said, Charmaine, it's like, you know, well, my baby's not like in a routine yet. This is a common question. You know, my baby's not in a routine yet. They're probably going to need feeding or changing whilst they're doing the class. Great, no problem. Like, if you wait for a routine, you're going to be waiting a long time. And actually, coming to the classes will help you get the routine that you want, because you'll start to observe your baby's patterns and rhythms and build a routine around that. And that is how you end up creating the win-win for you and them. Because I didn't actually mention this in my video about cellular memory and trauma and pregnancy and how that passes on. But the effects of control crying, of leaving your baby to cry it out, which you know, it's been called different things at different times. It was called the contented little baby some years back when my little one was little. She's now 19. But essentially, we have a lot of research now that shows the impact of leaving your child to cry. And I don't mean for a minute or two. I'm talking about when you just leave them to cry it out, the impact that this has on their adrenaline glands, on their ability to process trauma, to feel that their needs are important, their ability even to build healthy bonds. There's a book called Why Love Matters, and you can read that if you want to know more. There's another one called What Every Parent Needs to Know, which tells you all of the science, the evidence-based stuff around babies and their development and what they need. And it's up to us to implement these strategies. You know, we can't leave it to anyone else to tell us. We have to be autonomous as parents, because we don't have that kind of support in our services. But the beauty is, through coming along to a class like a Birth Like Baby Yoga class, particularly the new babies, the 0 to 16 weeks, you're learning all of these practices, building your confidence. And even if you sit there and you're feeding your baby the whole time, you've got the replay, so you can go back and do it as many times as you want. Listen back to the information whenever you need to. And just like we've set up here, you have, you know, the way that we set the class up is you've got gallery view, right? So it's up to you how you do it. You can either focus on the speaker, which will be Charmaine demonstrating, or you can have the gallery view and enjoy everybody there. So I wish I could explain to people how important this early period is, the first few weeks. You know, in our physical classes, we wouldn't get women coming till their baby's about 3 or 4 weeks, sometimes 8 weeks, 9 weeks. By then, there's already so many things that have happened that we're undoing the patterns of, but they're already getting hardwired. So being at home, virtual, means you don't have to go through any of that. You can say, oh, we had a delayed second stage, or baby had to be rushed off. Oh, okay, well, we know what to do with that. Right, let's help you with that. Let's help you overcome this thing and that thing so it doesn't become a problem for them. And what else are you seeing in terms of the key benefits with the classes online versus physical? Because people don't realize, it's like, oh, what's the point? I'm online. Well, what is the point? Tell me, what's the point?
I think one of the biggest reasons is you can come in earlier, and I'm definitely thinking that a lot more women with older siblings are coming in as well. So whether that child is at nursery or even at home, or like there was one time when a lot of the children just gone back to school, but they all came back because they had colds, and mum was able to still be online because the children were just kind of playing and getting on things around, or even joining in. Some of them have been jumping in, and a lot of the singing that goes on, they would have recognized a lot of the nursery rhymes that I'm singing. So I've had a few toddlers joining us, but that's been nice, because I think sometimes it's not always easy when there's an older toddler around to come to classes. So I think that's a big thing. Our second and third time around mummies are engaging in the classes as well. And I think it's building a lot of confidence, because a lot of conversations have come up around, are we going out, places? Are we seeing family members yet? Are we, those little kind of conversations, when should we do that, and things like that. And people are starting to build a bit of confidence that I'd actually like to see people face to face, and either being conscious, or when are we going to do that, and how do we feel about that? And it's, lots of different conversation about what's going on with the baby's gut, if it's like reflux, or if it is dealing with sleep, or so much different elements that we can have a conversation about. I can offer advice for myself as a mother and a professional, and other mothers would chip in and say, well, I've tried this, have you tried that? So there's so much camaraderie, there's so much you can gain from each other and myself with the information we have, that you're feeling confident. So I'm getting lots of different reasons that is really important to stay linked in, and a space where we're positive. I think that's the most positive thing, because everyone's just like, everything's doom and gloom, and then there's we get into that kind of autumn winter energy as well, which I quite like the autumn actually. But everybody is able to, you can turn things around, like you might be sitting in, like, just an example of me talking with my daughter about sitting in traffic one day. Oh, I'm fed up of being in traffic. But then she mentioned, oh, it's so nice when the leaves are changing on the trees, mummy. So it's just about us shifting how we're thinking about what's going on, and taking every moment. And then when everybody's in class together, we're able to shift what we're thinking, and people will just say, I feel so much better because I just came here today. I was feeling a bit grumpy this morning, but this has kind of shifted my day a little bit. So it's that kind of thing. And I think it's having that space where we can be in a good space, we can feel really positive about the future.
Yeah, and we are co-creating. I think one of the things that yoga teaches you to do, and what an amazing thing for a baby to learn from so early on, is to shift your view of the world, and you see a different world when you shift it. So doom and gloom creates more doom and gloom. We call it a spiral of doom. A spiral of joy is when you decide to climb up the other way, and you start to look for evidence of positive things happening, especially when it seems like the world's feeding the grey. You want to put out the pink, and it's like, it's very much about that. And I feel what you've said is just so vital. Like, remember this, ladies, that and dads can take part as well, like
a few dads do.
One of those that everyone can participate. So one week it's mum, one it's dad, but it is about the invitation to recognize how beneficial it is to connect this way, to have a community that will support you, to feel encouraged, to develop confidence in yourself, and to hear that you're not on your own. There are others experiencing things just like you, what's normal, what's expected, what isn't, so that you really aren't doing your own head in. You're learning from everyone else, but you're learning from a perspective that is designed to uplift you, rather than it becoming a judgment tit for tat. I've seen this quite a lot in the postnatal groups that I heard about when I used to do all the pregnancy and baby yoga myself. There'd often be quite a lot of cliquiness and quite a lot of, well, you're not from the right place, or you didn't come to our NCT group, or whatever, and all of that's gone. That's not what you get in our groups. What you get is positivity and support to find answers and solutions, and also to develop patience, because the journey is one that is, it's got its ups and it's got its downs, and you want to really celebrate the ups. So, you know, obviously we would love to offer our physical classes again one day, but essentially to make that viable, it's just going to take a real resurgence in people recognizing the value of pregnancy and baby yoga again, and realizing that not only is it good for you and your brain development and good for your different stages of development for a baby, but it's amazing for your immune system. And, you know, what is the biggest threat at the moment? There's some lurgy out there that is attacking our immune system. Well, come and learn how to support your immune system to thrive, your baby's immune system to thrive. Come and learn about the microbiome of the skin and the gut. You know, come and learn about what you can do so that you're not waiting for some miracle cure to save you. Because this is what it means to really take charge, to empower yourself, to live as someone who's using your brain and your heart. Okay, you're fully switched on. You're not an automaton. And this needs way more fully switched on beings. So that's the invitation. And even when we are physically running classes again, we will aim to continue our virtual classes at the same time. So, you know, I would highly recommend you take advantage of the classes. You can look on the InJoy Yoga website and the RozyGlow website for details. Basically, InJoy is now part of RozyGlow. We've got the Facebook pages as well. And if you would like to take advantage of our half price class offer to try one, then just get in touch, like drop us a comment, find us through the social media channels, and we'll happily send you the discount code so you can try a class out. The main thing is give it a go. Like, if you're curious, if you're excited about what we've talked about, the key is to give it a go and just see how it works for you. Anything you want to say?
Absolutely. I think that is the way to go forward now, and unity and build and have a positive space for us to make a lovely space for ourselves and our families and our babies.
Yeah, we're creating a new world. So let's make this reset be one that we actually call forward, that is about what we want rather than what others tell us we should have.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you.